Greetings fellow Decepticons, Soundblaster1987 here with another animation review mini vlog. Today I will be covering the 2011 animated series My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Now, quick disclaimer before we begin. I've only seen up to about halfway through season 4 of this series so far, and there are 10 seasons overall, plus the Equestria Girls spin-off where they all had humanoid forms and such like and went to a high school on Earth. And, of course, for 2017, My Little Pony the movie. I've not seen that either, unfortunately, so I'll have to make separate videos about those later down the line. So, in order for me to avoid spoiling the storyline too much for those who want to check the series out, I'll leave a link in the description below to a website where you can watch the whole series, one episode at a time, and just cover the main basic premise of the storyline, instead of going into too much detail. So, the series takes place on the planet Equestria, which is basically similar to where the sort of way that things work with the parallel evolution of intelligent animals in the place of humans, as seen with things like Bluey, but with horses instead of dogs. So all of these horses can gesture with their front hooves as if they were hands, and can basically, control machinery and technology and such like the same way that humans would. And there are 4 basic types of ponies that can be found in this series. There's normal Earth ponies, the everyday realistic looking horses such as Applejack and Pinkie Pie. Then there's the Pegasus, who are obviously equipped with wings to fly and carry other characters great distances such as Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy. Then there are the unicorns, whose horn grants from telekinesis and other magic-based abilities like Rarity and Twilight Sparkle. Then the 4th rarest subspecies of equestrians are the alicorns. These are a mix of Pegasus and unicorn, having both the wings and the horn. Only members of the royal family are alicorns, such as Princesses Celestia and Luna, their adopted niece Princess Cadence, and, from season 4 onwards, Twilight as well. Because Twilight Sparkle's brother, Prince Shiny Armor, does marry Princess Cadence and become a member of the royal family, and therefore Twilight does as well through the whole in-law marriage connection kind of thing. That combined with the fact that Twilight Sparkle is the personal prize student of Princess Celestia's Academy for Gifted Young Horses. So, the basic premise of the series is that it starts with Twilight Sparkle and her newly hatched dragon sidekick, Spike, learning in the Palace Library at Canterlot, the capital of the Equestria Kingdom, under the personal tutelage of Princess Celestia. Celestia then instructs Twilight and Spike to go to the small village of Ponyville to learn more about friendship. Twilight is hesitant at first, believing that Spike, Celestia and the books in the library are all the friendship she needs. But Celestia insists, and they end up going anyway by hot air balloon. The moment they land, Applejack is the first to meet them, and then Twilight and Spike end up meeting the rest of the main protagonists, or the main 6, M-A-N-E, because the horse's mane, hairstyle and all that, wordplay humour. They all come together eventually to deal with the threat of Nightmare Moon, an evil, controlled transformation of Princess Luna caused by her insecurities about the reputation of her nighttime controlling magic compared to her sister Celestia's daytime controlling magic. So, the main 6 eventually meet up over the course of the first 2-part storyline, Friendship is Magic Parts 1 and 2, and get to know each other properly. Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy already knew each other because they grew up together in the Cloudsdale Kingdom for Pegasus, and Rainbow has defended Fluttershy from bullying a lot over the years due to Fluttershy's insecurities about flying. And basically, these elements of harmony that the main 6 have access to manifest themselves as crystal necklaces around their necks, except for Twilight that becomes a tiara, that are in the shape of the, cutie mark tattoos that they have on their hips. Every pony in the franchise has their own cutie mark, even members of other species like Zecora the zebra and Cranky Doodle Donkey that turn up later in the show. So, basically these cutie marks are basically an indicator of the kind of thing that either give you a hint as to what the character's name is, or their special talents and abilities. There's also a trio of much younger ponies, the secondary protagonists of the series, called the Cutie Mark Crusaders, who are the younger sisters, Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle, of the main 6 members, Applejack and Rarity respectively, as well as their friend Scootaloo, who is a, enthusiastic but somewhat disabled Pegasus that has undersized wings and can't fly. Scootaloo isn't a blood relative of the main 6, but looks up to Rainbow Dash like a role model. The Cutie Mark Crusaders are often getting mixed up in the main 6's adventures in one way or another, trying to discover what their true talents are in order to gain their cutie marks for future reference. And of course, no cartoon is complete without a hilariously entertaining roster of villains to challenge the hero's resolve. In addition to the temporary, unstable transformation of Nightmare Moon that Princess Luna ended up with, we also have the asymmetrical Chaos Dragon monster known as Discord, who was voiced by the legendary John Delancey, better known to some of you as Q from Star Trek, and in fact it was Q's powers of reality alteration and messing with everyone else's minds that was the inspiration for Discord in the first place. Then, of course, there are other villains such as the Cutie Mark Crusaders school bully, Diamond Tiara, and her rare, giggling cohort, Silver Spoon, who are always trying to mess with the kids' confidence. And then there's Trixie, who is a, magical fraud trying to become sort of like a rival to Twilight's use of magic and such like, using cheap parlor tricks to make up for the fact she's not actually a unicorn. Then, of course, there's also the, evil centaur goat monster Grogar, who was an ancient villain resurrected in the modern day. There was also a dark changeling called Queen Chrysalis, who once impersonated Princess Cadance to try and take over the Crystal Empire. And there's the smoke-like King Sombra, who was one of the main villains of the My Little Pony and Transformers crossover comics that came out with IDW Publishing a few years ago. I'll come back to those in a moment. Like I was saying, with Friendship is Magic, there was also the, 2017 My Little Pony the movie, which featured the ponies of the main 6 gaining the ability to become, sea ponies with the ability to turn into My Little Mermaid, the Little Mermaid style, transformations, with their cutie marks transferring onto a sort of dorsal fin sort of thing as their rear legs became a tail. And then, of course, there was the Equestria Girls spin-off, which I mentioned before, where basically the main entire cast of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic has been turned into humanoid characters with the same skin colour as their original bright-coloured pony forms. The Pegasus still have their wings on their backs, but they're all still humanoids with the same personalities as their pony counterparts. Except now it's set in a high school with Princess Luna and Princess Celestia as the co-principals. Very similar to the setup of the Monster High type series as well. So, that being said, there have also been, obviously, multiple comic book runs by IDW Publishing. And some of these include crossovers with other lines, like I mentioned before. There was the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic and Transformers crossover comics, Friendship in Disguise, and The Magic of Cybertron, in which the Autobots and Decepticons teamed up with various characters from Equestria during these interdimensional crossovers, with some of the main 6 teaming up with the Autobots and Spike teaming up with the Dinobots, while King Sombra tried to overthrow the Decepticons from within by controlling Scorponok. I'll cover these comics in a separate video another time, but for now that concludes my animation review. I've been Soundblaster1987, thanks again for watching. Like I say, I'll leave a link in the description below for a site where you can watch the whole series for those that are interested. Till then, due to the recent response to my latest community tab poll, my next animation review will be Futurama, the Matt Groening animated series. Till then, my next video altogether will be my accidentally delayed due to miscalculations of timing April vlog, which again, due to said miscalculation, will actually be in May this time. My top 10 list of figures that I'm still waiting for Marvel Legends to make of new characters and costume variants of existing characters we haven't had yet. such as the Silence variant of the symbiote Scream and the Phoenix 5 version of Colossus, among other things. My next toy review will be Transformers Age of the Primes Solus Prime. Till then, till all are one.